Hi there, Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising. Welcome to 2017. This is a dynamic year we have coming up, and this is going to be your forecast for February 2017 as well. This is Kimberly Knox, KK, your astrologer, and we will be talking about these eclipse patterns that are changing this year. We've also got Venus going retrograde, where that is in your chart, what's going to be highlighted for you, where Saturn is in your chart, and what all of this means in a big scope. And then we're going to bring it down to the monthly with February. So let's just try to understand a little bit about what 2017 is initially. So the fire rooster year is starting, Chinese zodiac, and it gives flavor to the moon. We just came out of a fire monkey year, and things were really pushing forward with new creative ideas and you know, really just casting off with enthusiasm and risk taking. Well, that enthusiasm will continue, and creativity will continue, and courage will continue, because we are in another fire year, which is great for really bringing forth and keeping that momentum going. The rooster, if you think about the rooster roaming around the hen house, in English, either the chicken or the cock, and you think about this ego, right? They need to look good. It's vanity. They want to be seen, and they need attention. So some of the things that are being brought forward too is this courage, very blunt type of truthful speaking. So you're going to see this as a 1 year. It resonates extremely well with not only Leo for leadership, but Uranus, which is about personal change and authenticity, and Aries, where Uranus is currently now, which is about courage and personal, what I need, the need of the person, where you find out who you are, Aries. So this year is really in line with the number 1 year, is really in line with Uranus is so strong this year. It's opposed by Jupiter. It's going to be, the second opposition will be in March the 2nd, and then it won't be for a little bit because Jupiter will go retrograde. But you know, we're really breaking out. Keeping in mind, we need to keep the balance, the diplomacy, keep our skills around relationships, but to go forward and be who we came here to be, to bring forth something big. And that's the big one kind of year. We're voted in a president. Now this year is going to be interesting. There's always already a lot of protests, but listen, we voted for change. We voted for something different. You're not going to get something different with the same old bureaucratic lies, cover-ups, and the same old stuff that has been going on, regardless of who represented that. We needed somebody to help us launch into a year of change that will break the mold. And we're ready for that, because Saturn is also in trine with Uranus, what wants us to go there. Okay, so understanding that, you know, Donald Trump has Uranus on his sun. He's got the moon opposite that point in blunt Sagittarius. He is a Gemini, and he's got Mars on his ascendant in a Leo. So he is the cock running around the hen house kind of thing. But let's have faith in who he brings in. Let's have faith that we voted this in for a particular reason, and the reason is good. I mean, your attitude will bring you everything. So mindset for 2017, one of the best things that you can do is to hone in and to make adjustments to your mindset, because it is your mind that will control everything, every outcome. It controls your physical body, the ailments that you have, yes, and it controls your outcome, your perceptions, everything. When you feel yourself slipping into the negative, into the gossipy, into the obsessive, any of those thoughts, the jealousy, the anger, the this, the that. And it's easy to get into those realms because we're surrounded by a lot of that. When you find yourself slipping, you must catch yourself. Go back to affirmations, go back to switching it to the positive mode, saying something about it, go out for a walk, get in nature. That always helps me. And you know, nature's the great equalizer. We get this vibration from nature, and it really helps to balance us. We're so, you know, in the mix with all of these electronics, and I'm doing my videos now, and I have been in front of the computer way too long. But so we need to make sure that we're keeping that balance. So this year is about one, it's about change. But personally, it's about you bringing forth that change that you have been trying to bring forward up till now. Now, Sagittarians, you've had such good opportunities, but you've also had Saturn. Saturn is on you. If you're Sag rising, I'm Sag rising, I have Saturn in my first house, and it's heavy. You need more sleep. You may have problems with your gums and your teeth because it's, you know, Saturn rules and it's under that rulership. If it's on your sun, it's very heavy. It can bring about illness. It's a wake-up call if you haven't been taking care of yourself, but you need to clear your plate, hone in on what you need to get done, and you really have an opportunity to be more resourceful and more accomplished than ever, because your sign generally likes to have a good time. Now, your ruler, Jupiter, has been in Libra for quite a while now. It's going to finish up and it's going to go into Scorpio in October, but that's lifting you up. So both your ruler, so Saturn, is in your sign, but it's also in a sextile to Jupiter in Libra. So this is also benefiting you. You're benefiting from your associations and your diplomatic capabilities and drawing people to you to gain cooperation. So the eclipses, where are they moving? First of all, let me just finish up with Saturn. Wherever Saturn is, we have to pay attention to it. Saturn in your first house says, whatever you were working on behind the scenes has now come to the first house. You've had a year and a half here. December, it's going to move on. It's going to move into your second house of finances. But it's saying you've had this time to show the world who you are in a business sense. And you're working on that. And you have to pay attention to being responsible. And you have to pay attention to creating form. That's what Saturn is. So it's helping you. And like I said, it's in a trine to Uranus in your fifth house. So whatever you're bringing forth that's new and interesting and dynamic that represents you, it's in trine, and it's going to be in a grand fire trine with the eclipses, and particularly this first lunar eclipse, which is coming up February the 10th in Leo. It's a grand fire trine. So this is beautiful and really helpful for you. The eclipses now are moving into Leo and Aquarius. It's leaving your access here. It's leaving your home and your career access. The North Node was eclipses were going through your career zone, so you could have had, you know, breakthroughs in career, changes in career, which led you to have to move somewhere. Your home life being changed and restructured somehow or improved. And now it's moving into your ninth and your third. So the North Node in your ninth house says, maybe it's time to go back to school. Perhaps you wanted to go back to school for something, getting recertified, going, picking up some new classes somewhere. And travel, long distance travel. This is a time where you will have opportunities to go long distance. A trip may come up, or you're dealing with foreigners in your business somehow. I remember I was starting to sell overseas when I had this area activated, or I had the ability to take some long distance trips, and I started my classwork, which I just finished in integrative nutrition. So it is about working on that. And if you're not taking care of that area, you're going to have troubles in your third house. That is the South Node area, and that represents your siblings, your neighborhood, your car, your communication, your thinking, all of that. So make sure you're fortifying those ninth house. And Venus is going retrograde this year. So Venus retrograde is telling us that it's time to go within. This is not a time to be buying new clothes, getting plastic surgery, vamping up your look in any way to feel better. It's about going within to see who you are. How do you find out who you are? It's in the Aries area of your chart. We all do. This is where we find out who we are at this vital level. Your fifth house has to do with your children, your creative self-expression, your romance. This is where you're really honing in on those properties, those things that make you unique. And Uranus has been there, making big changes with your children, making changes with romance, who you're attracting. You could have attracted someone that is very Uranian type of a person, interesting, unique, inventive, different, a rebel, and you're ready to break free now. So when Venus is retrograde, it's going into its shadow January the 30th. But right now what we are doing is we are celebrating still, because Venus is in wholeness. We're celebrating everything that we brought forward since August of 2015. And during that time, Venus was retrograde in your ninth house, and we were all getting in touch with our creative self-expression, our heart energy. So, this is why you're here. You're here to contribute something. And we all have this little tiny gift inside of us that we need to bring out, and expressing that. This is where we are right now, so we should be in gratitude for what we've achieved and how we've brought that forward. And now we're going to get the chance to delve deeper into what we want to bring forward that represents us. So we can't listen to anyone else. We have to go within. In silence is where we find out who we are. In silence is where we get the answers. So this is not about, if you're not dating someone, it's time to revamp your whole dating persona. When you rise up your vibration, you attract a better quality vibration as well, because the vibration that's attracted to is matching. So if you want to increase that, you need to work on yourself. And your thoughts bring about things. What you're thinking about the majority of the time is brought to you in twofold. March the 4th, Venus is going to go retrograde. On March the 25th, Venus meets with the Sun in your fifth house. You may find out something about your partner at this time, or your children at this time, that allows you to make some decisions. There's some information that comes out, or you're working on something that's creative that you really want to do, and you get information on that. March 25th, that's the date. And then May the 7th, it goes direct. Venus goes direct April the 15th, and it's on May the 17th, it gets back to the same point of 13 degrees of Aries where it went retrograde, and it's finally out June the 6th. So it's there for a very long time in your fifth house. So you're going to have some major restructuring done there. You can celebrate possibly with your children if there's some major thing going on there. And so it's a real beautiful time. And then Venus will go on into your sixth house of career and fitness and daily workouts, just everything you do on a daily basis. So those are the big areas of your life that are happening in 2017. So let's move on to February, and let's see what's coming up for you guys. So on January the 27th, we've got a new moon. That new moon is in your 3rd house sector here. That's Aquarius. That's an air sign. It's in a good aspect to your sun sign. And the 3rd house has to do with your thinking, your thoughts, neighborhood, those social parties that are right around you, some short distance travel. So things will come up there. Your ability maybe to hone your speaking skills, to revise your social media, your personal branding, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Google Plus, all of these, YouTube. That's all 3rd house stuff, and it's real big right now. And January the 29th, we've got Mercury going to be meeting with Pluto. So Mercury went retrograde in your 2nd house of finances here. It is going to meet, it never got to meet with Pluto, so it's going to be doing that. Mercury is going to meet with Pluto on the 29th, and this is helping you hone in on your personal finances. Pluto has been there restructuring things, so now you have a working plan going forward, and that'll be real helpful. On January, first of all, January the 28th, we've got Mars moving into Aries. So at that time, here, your 5th house of fun and recreation and children and fitness, it's going to raise that up. You need to go and have some fun and spend some time with your children and work on really fun things. That's going to be January 28th, and that's going to go all the way to March the 9th. So you have quite a while to enjoy that. On February the 3rd, we have 1st quarter moon, and we also have Venus moving into the same section here, your 5th house. So Venus gets in there before it goes retrograde. It starts bringing some goodies. So you've got a lot of stuff going on around romance, children, like I said, it's your creative self-expression. It's having fun, and Venus brings sweetness to the area. But there's going to be some restructuring there. There's going to be time to go within and really find out, dig deeper into who you are and what you want going forward. And then moving forward, hold on 1 second. I just need to look at something here. February the 6th, your ruler, Jupiter, is going to go retrograde, and it stays retrograde through June the 9th. And so this is your ruler, personal ruler, so it's a time where you also have this part of you that's sleeping a little bit. So you are doing inner work right up until the summer, pretty much here. So just know that, and when your ruler will go direct, and it's going to leave, it's going to go direct June 9th, it's going to leave Libra and go into Scorpio, intense Scorpio in October. So you're going to be taking on another tone of this deep, focused, emotional, loyal sign of Scorpio, and that goes into your 12th house, behind the scenes, bringing you expansion in everything that is preparation, because in another year you're going to have Jupiter go into your sign, which is fabulous. So working behind the scenes says, I'm expanding my subconscious through expanded efforts in self-care related to, excuse me while I take a drink. I have been talking for hours on these videos, and so excuse me, meditation, yoga, past life regression, just expanding all of this stuff to help you get better in touch with who you are. And then in 2019 you've got Jupiter going into your sign, which really will expand your growth and push you forward. And so let's keep going forward here. February the 10th, we have a beautiful lunar eclipse in Leo. So the lunar eclipse is here in your 9th house, and that's starting off this whole aspect of the ninth and third house of the new eclipse patterns, where the nodal axis is switching. So you're going to be finding out how well this is a time of release, and it's a time of celebration and full blooming. The seeds that you planted last August in the ninth house, you're going to be seeing how well you've done, and you're getting results now. So results around how you've done with maybe you started a new study at that time. Maybe you were making plans to travel. You were dealing more with the public. You're trying to improve your communication with your partner. It's work that you do behind the scenes to improve your career. So this is coming into, it's also your belief systems, it's your philosophies, how that's expanding, because Saturn in Sagittarius says we all need to expand our consciousness, expand our thoughts and thinking, and learn new things. Okay, so what else is going on here? February the 18th is last quarter square, and at last quarter we integrate everything that we've learned during the lunation, and we go forward with renewed energy to achieve goals. The sun goes into Pisces at this time. The sun in Pisces for you represents your fourth house. There is an impending last solar eclipse in your fourth house. So you've had them there. Your fourth house home life can be changing. You can be redecorating, renewing. So maybe this is now it's taking on, maybe you're moving to a new place, a bigger place. Maybe new people are coming in or people are leaving. But you're going to find out something. Eclipses always bring things to note that we need to know. So get ready in this sense to make changes. Fourth house is also where you are foundation-wise, like where you want to personally go in your life. So at a deeper level, this is about you taking a deeper look as well. On the 22nd, Mars squares Pluto. Mars squares Pluto from your 5th to your 2nd. Okay, so this has to do with money that you're spending possibly on creative ventures, because Pluto's in your 2nd, restructuring that. They came together in October. You created some powerful intention around where you're going with this. And now that Mars is over in your 5th house, this is having fun. This is investing in some type of creative project that you're working on, or your children. So that is, it's taking a step out there to make some transformation that Pluto is requiring. And February the 25th, so right before the solar eclipse on the 26th, you've got Mercury moving into your 4th house as well. So the thoughts are down around what am I doing in my home? What am I doing around my home? What am I doing for my home? Maybe you have to move because something happened. You'll know. And at the solar eclipse, you also have Mars conjoin Uranus, and that's in your 5th house here. And so Mars Uranus is sudden, it's explosive, it's it's unique, but Mars is getting in line with these outer planets to push us forward in ways that we want to be pushed. In the outer world, though, it can bring apart some type of unrest. Now these eclipses are going to be triggered by Mars, and I will let you know those. I have it written down somewhere. Hold on a second. It's good to know the trigger points here. Do I have them written down? Yeah, so, wait, hold on. I don't have them written down on these sheets, but in my weekly readings, I'll let you know, because Mars is a big trigger. The Pisces eclipse was triggered December 29th, and then it's going to be triggered here. Just let me look in my book. I'll do it a different way. I had them written down, but I forgot to write them down. So let's see. Mars is going to be triggering the lunar eclipse. That's in Leo in your 9th house in April 9th, 10th, like 8th, 9th, 10th. And April 30th, May 1st, 2nd is going to be triggering that eclipse. It's down in your home sector. So this is a very fast-paced, unique, pushing forward kind of year. And you know, we often get what we put out there. So to get the best is to think the best about the energy and to put yourself in that higher vibration. And about the crystals, I do like to talk about crystals and the essential oils. And I'm just going to give you a couple. I've been wearing this obsidian bracelet. This is actually from Love 13. And obsidian is a really great stone for Saturn. You've got Saturn on you right now. It's for protection, grounding, and centering. And it's a stone that's representative of Aquarius. Saturn's one of the rulers, also, of course, Capricorn. But frankincense is also a great essential oil for the energy that we're in. And I love frankincense. You can use frankincense on your body too for healing inflammation or for healing any area that has imbalance. So Sagittarius, I hope you have a fabulous February. Please reach out to me by email, kk@kkastrology.com, for your personal coaching sessions so that we can take a look at your self and gain your self-knowledge and self-awareness. We can push you forward and transform you in major ways through the first 6 to 12 months of this coming year. Reach out to me on Instagram for more daily messages. That's Kimberly Knox at Instagram. So just you can just put my name in and search, and you can check out great storyboard posts and cooking and health tips, as well as my Facebook fan page, KK Astrology. So I am in such gratitude of all of you subscribers and all my clients around the world, and helping me to grow my subscriptions here on YouTube. This is a great place for me to get my passion out, and I'm very grateful. Have a beautiful month, Sag.